All right. So today we have Sunil Kadim Diwan. He will talk about building Power Solution with Power Platform. Please stop by hit LinkedIn and say hello. And here is our LinkedIn and YouTube, so you can go ahead and follow, give it a follow here. I leave the screen for a couple seconds so you guys can scan it. All right. So I want to give a brief introduction about team. We have Paresh, what is you can see on the screen. He's right there. Paresh, say hi. He is our organizer. And we have Engineer, myself, Huinvu, Mohit R. Garwa, Chinsu, and Olga Nesterova. She here with us today, and Senthil. So for our agenda for today, where our speakers in Yokani Diwan and have a couple of announcements. For June 9, we have Andy Levi. He will talk about DBA2. We will have this event in person at the Microsoft office in Houston. And July 23rd, we have Ginger Grand. This will be an online event. And for November 7 and 8, there's also a in-person event at the Microsoft office. The registration for the event is open right now on Meetup, so you can go ahead and get a ticket.
It's on SQLSaturday.com. The November 7 and November 8 is on
Right. Thank you for
SQLSaturday.com.
correcting that.
No worries.
And we have a job exchange today. So if you have a job to offer or you guys looking for a job, please let us know in the in the chat. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, and make sure that your boss is not reading it either. So
yeah, gotta be secretive. So for our future event, you can look that up on SQLSaturday.com and DataSaturday.com. We have one coming to Houston on November 11th. That is an event that I mentioned earlier. We also have other event around the country, another country listed here, so you can check that out. And I want to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Sunil Kadim Diwan. He is a business intelligence consultant at Raytheon. He have over 25 years of experience in architecting and implementing database solution. He also an expert in Microsoft Business Intelligence Power Platform and Snowflake. He also a frequent speaker of different SQL Saturday event around the country, CoCam, and different user group meeting. So without further ado, Sunil, can you share your screen?
Thank you for the nice introduction, and I am very excited to be here to share what I know. So I'm sharing my screen, and did my PowerPoint go? Okay, here we go. So briefly, I'll spend a few minutes on the PowerPoint, and then we'll jump into the actual technology demos. So as I mentioned, my name is Sunil Kadim Diwan, and today we'll talk about Power Platform, Microsoft Power Platform, and so hopefully you'll get some good information from here. Again, this is all repeat, which Wen already said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk a little bit about Power Platform, and then I'll focus mostly on how they work together. Individually we'll talk about each product, but in general, what I want to show you is how they interact with each other, and you can really, I guess, enhance your applications or solutions based on using more than one product in your solution. So, And so in general, this is the Microsoft Power Platform. All these products are there, and Power BI, Power Apps is where you can do a pretty cool app development with very little coding. You can probably get away with almost no coding, but then you can enhance the application with more coding as you want. And then Power Automate, obviously it lets you move data across, or set up workflow applications, and so that will also be very nice. I honestly not worked with Power Agents, but Dataverse is it's a database platform. Again, it works very seamlessly in the Power Platform environment, and it has a lot of features, obviously, but that's I'll be doing some presentations later on but not I'll just use that product today, and these obviously the other products out there. So with that, I think really my PowerPoint stuff is kind of done, and I will move to the area where I'll start sharing my Power Platform environment. So if I go to the that's the email. So in general, let me close this, guys. So you can get a what do you call it, eval or a developer's version of this. I don't believe they charge at all, and a lot of these products are available for you to give it a try, and which is what I find it very useful to kind of use them. Many times they have sample data, and that is also helpful, but also they have templates, which is also, again, kind of typical Microsoft environment where a lot of things are made as easy as possible for you to start learning, And so if I click on Power Apps, right, which is kind of the one of the top, products I want to focus on, and I want to talk a little bit about what the environment looks like, and then we can go into actual applications. So one of the things you will see is there's something called as, obviously, the admin center, right? And obviously this is the Power Platforms admin center, and it's coming, and all right. So the one important thing about the environment is, well, really you can set up multiple environments. Well, because of my I have 3 environments here. One is demo, one is AID, application and day, and then this is the default one, which comes with the as you get to assign into their eval product or eval account, right? And then there are a lot of things you can do here, but in general, one of the things to remember is the Power App, when you develop applications, they're specific to a particular environment. Or if you do Power Automate workflow or application, workflow applications, then they're also dependent on an environment. Or Dataverse is also dependent on an environment. So it doesn't cross over. So if there's a Dataverse database in AIED prep environment, it's completely different from the demo. It's completely different from the Microsoft environments. So just so you be aware of that. And I'm probably not. I'm going to use just maybe one environment, maybe two, but in general, I'm not going to focus much on what environment I'm in, but I'm just going to use them. But it's probably most important, especially if you were to use a lot of do a lot of work in Dataverse, and then it starts becoming a very restricted, and that to be that where you are. Power BI kind of doesn't have any such environment kind of focus on it. So it's just workspaces, and then and they interact with these three environments, and I'll show you what happens there. So that in general is like what you should be just aware of, and nothing I'm going to do is going to cause any what do you call issues with these environments being separate, but something you should be aware of as if you get an eval account from Microsoft, then you'll get to learn a lot of these. There's just a lot of settings behind this, but that's probably another different session we're going to go to. So what I'm going to do is we'll start with I should go back to my PowerPoint a bit. So I'm going to spend time initially on the Power BI and Power Automate, and then move on to Power BI and Power App, and then there are more, but depending on the time we have. So I'm going to go to the a copy of what is there. So I'm going to open this Power BI report, right?
Yes, some of these take a while to open up. It's something Microsoft needs to fix.
Yeah, takes a while, and if I keep it open earlier, it sometimes acts funny. So I didn't want to do that. But anyway, so just hopefully a minute or so, and so. All right. So what I have here is, fairly, if people have used Contoso retail data warehouse, that's what is the data behind this. And, obviously all sample data, it's not belong to any company, obviously. And one of the things which really, really people want from Power BI, at least many of the users I work with, is they want to get data out of here, right? And then because usually there's a lot of calculation behind the scenes, and then there are a lot of data sources coming together, and then so there's a wealth of knowledge here. And so this is just something I set up before, but now we'll kind of not worry about that one right now. Obviously, it works. So what will happen is, so now if I say email the CSV, and I'll set them up in a minute, but in general, it did something, right? It triggered. And what it did was really, if I go to my email, you can see that it sent me an email, and it has obviously the rows here, right? But the nice thing about this is, so you can see that that's the home appliances, right? So let's close that out, come back here again. Oh, where did it go? Here. And let's say, somebody wants to only share these 2 rows, right? So now I selected only 2 rows, and I'm going to say email again. And go back to the mail, and there we go. So now it shows you only 2 rows, right? So you can see that it's pretty helpful in the sense it respects what your selections are. I'm just going to delete them. And obviously, if I select that, it's going to send all those, and select that and select it, whatever. The point is, it respects your filter selection. And then, obviously, I'm emailing now. We can also, send it to a OneDrive. You can send it to SharePoint. You can do, all kind of export capabilities are there. But so the way to do this is, right. So one thing is, so I'm going to go. So that's product name, product. So these 3, columns are there. So the way to get started is, so here's the Power Automate. Click on that, and then you put the columns you want to export, right? So I can do that, maybe you can do that, and maybe that, right? So now you got all these columns you want to send to the user, right? So then here is the environment I was talking about, right? So you can change it. So let's say I change it to that. And so once you're done, now these are the columns you want to send. Now you go into something called edit. So now here you're almost, it's pretty much like it's built-in Power Automate environment. So I'm going to just start a instant cloud flow. What that's going to do is it's telling me that when the button is clicked, which is what I was showing you, it will start. You can start doing some things, and now what we're going to do, right? So I'm going to add a step, which is, let's say, create CSV table. And here I want to just put this one. Oh wow, I don't know why it's going there. Let me get rid of it. Okay, I'll come back. So create CSV table, and this one. So now I'm going to take whatever the export is from there, and now it's going to create a CSV table. And the next step is, send email. And here you can pick, your users, and these are all O365 users, right? So, whoever they are, and now you go sales, and then you can make this, very dynamic. So then you say, again, all these are required. So subject is required, body is required, and then you go here and the attachment, again, you can do the same thing.
It almost looks like Outlook for Fabric or something like that.
Yeah. And then, well, all I think Fabric is probably the next generation. And very important is you need to give it as extension. It's going to be a file. And here, the output from the previous step will come in. So now you got your simple flow here. You got a button gets clicked, creates a CSV table, sends it as an email. And here you can make it dynamic also. So I'll maybe do it to the next one. But so now that it's done, here we can do maybe June 18th, simple export, and save it again. So I just renamed that from whatever funny name it had. So now it's kind of doing all the checking the validation of what is here. So hopefully it all works. But the most important thing is you need to make sure you click on the save and apply, because what that does is it links up your Power BI report, especially the button clicking and the data behind it, with the Power Automate flow, which is created in the Power Automate environment, right? So now, since that is successful, so we go out. So now you can see it became a kind of a button, right? Oops. So maybe we'll just color it differently so that it looks different. And I don't know, red. And you can change it to so that's basically what is happening, right? So now I can say, maybe I need something else, games and toys, maybe. And now I got a few records here. Now I can click on it. And if I go back to my Outlook, here we are, right? Which is what we just did. And you can see that, obviously, I think this is UTC because we said UTC now. So you can see that a file came through, right? So this is pretty cool. It's got all the interactivity, it respects the filters, and pretty quick it learns, sends it out. And you can make this dynamic so that, you only whoever clicks on it can get the email, not just the author of this solution, right? And one thing that is important after this is if you go out to Power Automate, again, I'm in my apps and I can kind of go probably anywhere all these things work. But now if I go to Power Automate, so I'm going to change my environment because remember I said this is, come on, buddy. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you one thing here. So my flows. And here's the June 18th export. Now, if I go to the details, so this is the important part, because if you're going to open it up for other people to run this and get their own email copy or CSV copy, then you need to make sure they have access to that. So I just did that, and now Alex has access to run the click on the button and get the email. So this is very important, because you can create these Power Automate, but essentially you also need to enable them to be able to at least run. So okay, so that is like just the structure of how you go about from Power BI to use Power Automate and send the files out. Okay.
So Neil,
So
so I
is
have
this
a quick
something?
question.
Sure,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry, I'll wait.
Does it require any licenses, or any user can use it?
Oh, this is no, there's definitely licensing here involved here. I am not good at telling you all about licensing, but you do need to have the whole Power Platform, right? Because I think you can. It comes with one of the O365 licensing. Again, I don't know what level they are. They are different levels, but you can I guess figure that out. I don't know honestly, and I know on this sample or eval copy, I get a E5, which is really almost every feature they have. But that's just for development purpose, and then I can't use it for anything else. So I honestly don't know, but definitely there is licensing involved. So
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. No worry.
yeah, yeah.
So
Anyway,
one sec, I had also a question. So from what I see so far,
yeah.
this looks like a glorified version of SSRS. Basically, you are creating a report and then mailing the report out, which is something like a subscription-based SSRS.
Yeah, subscription is
Maybe the correct. So no, subscription-based SSRS reports, right? So people
yeah.
who have subscribed to the reports, they get them automatically here. So I think what here it seems to be like this is a small part now of the overall Power Platform. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, and also this is like ad hoc export, Paresh, and
Yeah, I
then
see.
if you go to the Power BI platform, then you can do scheduling and there also can be enhanced but that is done by um, the owner of the report, and also you can subscribe yourself there also. So yeah, you're right. There are just different ways of getting data out of your valuable calculations you've done in Power BI, because eventually if you look at Power BI, there's just a lot of work going on in the background. Could be lot of DAX calculations, lot of different tables coming together, and so it's pretty helpful. So okay. And any other questions? Or all right. So if I go back to my flows, I think what I show the next one is, I because we already 829. I'll show you one others, which is the one I just built, which is ad hoc, can only go 1,000 rows. That's it. Even if you have lot of data here, like here, more than 1000, you cannot export it through that button, right? So what you have to do is, just one quickly I'll show you here. So now let's say this guy has 6,500, rows, right? The way to kind of go about doing this is you go to view and you say performance analyzer, start the recording, and you click on this, right? And what happens is you go here, it creates a query, or you can run it in DAX, right? So now you can see that it opened a DAX window. You don't have to know all these details that are going on here. The only thing you need to make sure is it defaults to 501 or some small number. So you kind of say, okay, I want to send out 10,000 rows, right? I think it pretty comfortable work with 100,000 rows, and then it probably doesn't perform that well. But you can see that when I ran it, I have the 6,500 rows here. So now what you do is you copy this DAX, but I'll show you what happens next, right? So here is the other one. I'll edit it instead of going about and creating it. So because I want to show you other things. But here is the other Power Automate where I can send a large data. So here I'm scheduling certain I kind of once a month because I didn't want to keep getting emails. But the most important thing is this guy. So you publish your Power BI report to the server, which is like demo workstation, whatever workspace, right? And then you got your actual data set. And this is the DAX query I was just showing you. You paste it here. And once you do that, then you go the next step, which is a select, which is you select whatever columns you want to now send. Again, it doesn't have to be one-to-one. Like, you may have selected 9 columns, but you may want to export at the end 4 columns, but doesn't matter. But the point is, though, you can now change the name of the columns, or if there was no space, you can put space, or if there are square brackets, remove them, and stuff like that. So here, if I go to the switch mode, you can see that what it's doing is it's the data, how the Power BI is sending out the data is in that syntax. And obviously, your users probably don't want to see all that stuff, So you want to like rename them to be something more business friendly. And that's how you kind of, make it easy for the users. And the next step is, again, like we did the create CSV table. And then obviously, right now I'm sending email. It doesn't have to be sending email. It can be, you can save this into OneDrive or SharePoint or whatever you want. And so that's how you kind of work through it. But the nice thing now is you can just say, I want to test this. So you can see it's hope it worked. Yeah, here we go. So pretty quick, right? 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds, quite a small amount of time. But the nice thing is now here we are, large rows. And if I open that up, so if I click on it, where did it go? Oh, 5,000 rows. Oh, because probably the version I have is 5,001 rows. But in general, you can see it's way a lot more than 1,000 rows. So it's probably that's what it did. So it's within like 2 seconds, you're getting 5,000 rows sent out to somewhere else. So it's way faster than doing that from inside the Power BI. You're now working against the Power BI service and the DAX formulas. So that's in general very, very useful. So, all right. And so I hope that's the Power BI and Power Automate combination that which is how I find it very useful to use. So and we use this quite a bit, and we've built different workflows, all kind of things around this. So, okay. Any questions for me? Okay. So I'll move to the next section or next area of what I want to show. I'm done with Power Automate and the Power Apps, right? So let me close this guy. All right. So I had to show the SharePoint. 1 second. So I'm here. I'm going to use SharePoint because one of the things that happens is Office 365 obviously comes with the SharePoint license, and you can do a lot of things with SharePoint. But one of the really nice thing about SharePoint is you can also use it in Power Apps very seamlessly. You don't need drivers. You don't need anything special. Dataverse, I've seen Power Platforms people buy or companies buy without Dataverse, or they kind of lock up Dataverse. But SharePoint is usually fairly open. So so this is I just want to show you a small list I created, which is what we're going to use in the Power BI report. So site contents, where is it? Come on. Here we go. So I have just a very small, just 10 rows or 10 rows. It's just, and then, just all it is some simple examples of, few columns. But then here's the nice part, which kind of comes into play. So I go here. So I'm going to open up a copy. I'll try to move as fast as possible, but I want to show you this. So it's really, really cool. So are people pretty comfortable with Power BI?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. We
Oh,
use
good.
Yeah, I would
mostly.
believe so.
Oh,
And
good,
I
good.
think,
So
yeah.
yeah, nice, because I this is more kind of, I guess, not intro level, but slightly above. But it's if I'll explain as I go along. So right. So this is the SharePoint data I'm using, and it's just a pretty small amount of rows, and it's doing some small grouping chart. And one other thing probably would be nice to have is so ID category, sales year, title year, and sales amount. So I got these pieces of data here, right? So bump up the font a bit. All right, so I got these pieces of data, and obviously, Power BI is only for, viewing data, right? And then we won't be able to change the data here, but that's where, Power Apps will come into picture, right? So one of the really nice thing about this is, so maybe I should put a border around it so that. All right, so we got this, kind of a small report here, and it's using the SharePoint, right? So now what we can do is we can just click on Power Apps here, and then again, we kind of pull the columns we want to build up Power App or application on, right? So category, and maybe title, sales here, and amount, right? So now we're saying all these columns are going to interact between Power BI and Power App, right? So I just started the step one, and I said, here we are. I'm gonna do that. But before that, I want to go to the EID prep. The reason I keep going back to this environment is because that's the one I created, and I kind of have more control over it. That MSFT is sometimes get restricted because it's created by Microsoft, but I mean it's not so bad. But in general, this is definitely you want to create your own environment so that you don't have any restrictions of what to do. So now you can choose an existing app or you can create one, right? So I'm going to create one. And, okay, comes up with this humongous URL. I'm going to start closing these guys. SharePoint, I showed you. All right. So even though I've done a lot of reporting, data analytics work, all through, but I found that Power Apps is really something which is extremely useful because you can build small nifty apps, and where I work, it's such a huge company. Even if you want to build a small app, what did I do? I didn't do anything. It just takes a lot of effort to get someone to do the work for you. So I'm going to add a gallery, which is basically like a listing. So now I got the items. So that's very important, right? So I do that, and then let me check one other thing. Okay. So now, what it's doing is it's going to the new data source. It's not selecting it. Give me 1 second. Maybe that's the mistake I did in the beginning. Let me start all over again. I'm sorry. It's important, but I'm going to go back. Oh, I know what the problem is. Sorry about that. Just 1 second. I missed one step. I'm
They
going to
say
remove
do
this.
not code during the demo, right?
I know. But this is pretty cool stuff, so I wanted to show you guys. So, okay, so I'm going to remove this. One thing I had to do is I had to actually publish it. Okay, that's the mistake. So it's publishing because the integration of two products, which are both on the Power Platform, can only happen when things are on the Power Platform. So here we are. All right. So you can see this is the new report I just created. So I go here and I edit. And now I'm going to click on Power Apps. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot this one step. So so here we go. So now I'm going to create the app. Yeah. So see how the data came along because I'm interacting from the Power BI on the server with the Power App on the server. So one thing very important about this is a special data source. See that Power BI integration? That means it is now connected to my Power BI report on what I just clicked on, right? So now I got that. So gallery is basically a listing of what that is, right? So one of the things you can do with the gallery is you can obviously change the layout and, so I can say, put the title and that, right? So I can just go to audio and I can say, oops, Apple, right? So now it shows that. Now I can go here, can put a category, and it's pretty cool what it does. And this item, that means it's the current item, right? So sales year, maybe that, and sum of sales. So just for now, these are the two things I'm putting. So I can bump up the font.
So what is this co-pilot that it keeps on prompting you with?
Yeah, you can ask it to do things, but I think in a way, it's very important to know how to do it before you start giving control to Copilot. It also does a lot of really cool stuff, but I honestly haven't used it a lot. But now I know it's constantly prompting me. So now I got all these rows listed, right? So one of the things you may want to do here is kind of customize this a bit. So I know I'm going to copy all this because I don't want to type them. So what I'm going to do is template fill. So now what it does is if I select that, it's going to be that color. If it's not selected, that color. And then I'm going to go to separator, just make it look a bit nicer, and and the other thing you may want to do is, again, these are all good to have. So, and now we can see it's kind of looking better and better, right? So, so this is basically just a starting point of all the listing. But one of the things typically that happens is, so here is the kind of an icon, but one thing we can do here is maybe bump it up a bit, make it bit.
Sunil,
Yes, sir.
10 minutes.
Yeah. I'll finish it quickly.
Okay.
So we got all these, like things, and then one thing you want to do is you want to save it and call it, Power App or Power BI, and just one other thing would be nice to have. So if I put one more screen, and now I'm going to add data to this. So here I want to do a SharePoint. I'll so this guy again. So you can see that, one screen is the listing, another screen is the working one, right? So let me you can keep going with this, but let me go to the actual one of the functioning application so that you will see what eventually will come out of this. And the other really nice thing is I have an example of using Dataverse. So you will see the impact of using a Dataverse, which is a direct connection allowed, right? In Dataverse, in SQL Server, and a few other applications like that. So if I go to the one, this one, right? Again, this is all obviously very similar to what you guys were seeing just now. I just have continent names here instead of category names. Yeah, this is a constantly evolving, that it's a development. But you can see that it's a functioning Power BI report. But if I click on this North America, you can see obviously those will go North America. But even these guys, that's a Power App, right? And now if I say only show me 9 sales transaction 9, that's what showed up, right? So it's really cool that way, and you can really set up, this interaction. But the other thing is maybe, so you can see transaction number 2 is 2,500, right? So if I go to the actual application and maybe make some odd number, right? So then I save it. Where did it go? Here we go. There it is. See how it changed the application, changed my report. Obviously, the changes in this report will also be there. So it's really powerful. One thing that's probably a lot more used is, you have data here, transactions, and say they want to put some comments on this. So they'll click on it, maybe go here, and maybe there's a comments box here, which will show up, or, instructions to, hey, take a look at this, and, you need to act on this quickly. And then at that point, once they make that change, that comments will start showing up here, because you can't do that changes in Power BI. So we kind of using the two technologies to make it happen. So that's in general kind of the gist of, using Power BI, Power App, Power BI, Power Automate, and all of these kind of work very, very smoothly. And and as you can see, this is using Dataverse. So Dataverse is the one which allows me to do direct connection, not the import connection in Power BI. So that's basically what I had. I mean, I have more, but I'll ask me questions. Anything I can help you guys with. So good.
So Shin has a question.
Yeah,
Shin,
yeah.
I can promote you. How the hell do I do that? Okay. Because Chin doesn't have the Microsoft community. Okay. Chin, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. So Chin is a very valued member of our community. So
Okay.
Chin, Huen, Olga,
Yeah.
Mohit, then Senthil and Anuja are missing. So
Okay.
okay, go ahead. Chin.
Yeah, I have a question. So after listen of this, you speak about this topic. So I can say like Power Automate to like send emails, manage a user like you can subscribe a user as well, and the Power Apps can be used to view reports or you can create ad hoc reports. Uh, so like for convenient to use, can we say that?
Yeah. So if I were to go back to my kind of the slide where all these products are there, so Power BI will be useful for creating reports and dashboard, do all your analysis, and pull all your various data sources together, and you can work with quite large volume of data here, right? And
Mhm.
then if you want to build applications, right, to make changes to your data, and especially with very little coding, right? As you saw, whatever coding I was doing was fairly limited, but it can go pretty complex. But the point is, you can start with very little coding, but you can have applications which will change the data for you, right? And Power Automate is really about putting like a workflow, like let's say, hey, when Power BI data, usually I say you refresh the data, I don't know, like once a day, once a week, whatever, because usually, let's say your volume of data is very large, or your data is ready at 2 a.m. in the morning. So now, you refresh the data here, and now you want to be able to say, oh, how many um, you know uh, whatever like subscriptions are due, right? And because now here, based on your reporting, that so many subscriptions are due, so this guy can wake up and say, oh, give me only those email addresses, and or their addresses or whatever, and I want to do some mailing. But now you're mailing only for people who have subscription due, or let's say somebody is didn't enter their timesheet, and you want to tell them, hey, you forgot to enter the timesheet, can you please do it? So again, a lot of analysis you can do here, and you can go here, and you can bring them back to Power Apps and say, enter your timesheet here. So you can see kind of how all three applications will work, but they'll all be kind of interacting with each other, and so that way it will be useful. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that sounds great. So
Okay.
that is like we can use a computer and also we can use like a phone for the apps, right?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely the format of your app and your report definitely can be accommodating the desktop, your phone or your tablet, all those will work fine. Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
Yeah.
can I just interrupt for a quick second before people start leaving? I think a couple of them already left. But guys, next month on July 9th, we have Andy Levy from Rochester. He's coming to speak to us about how to use DBA tools, which is basically a whole bunch of PowerShell modules for bettering your job, right? So doing your database administration, to some extent, even database development and so on. Then that'll be in person. We'll be giving out some free food also. So please register and then show up so we don't have to waste the food. So just follow the meetup that is out there. I can post it again for you here. Give me one sec. Meetup.com, hashtag, and you should be able to go ahead and RSVP to that event. Because it is an in-person event, Microsoft has limitations on number of people who can come in. So please try your best to register and then actually show up. Thank you so much. Okay, continue, Sunil.
Yeah, that'll be a nice event. So is this in downtown?
Yes,
Houston?
downtown Houston. Yes.
Oh, nice.
So like you have
Not
George Walters
really.
there, right?
Yeah.
It's in the
So
city
we have-
center, so
Yeah, it's slightly outside of. It's like Burlington, so to speak. So
I see.
yeah.
Okay.
So just as you have George Walters there, we have Paul DiCarlo here. So
Okay.
Paul has been a very good support for us. So
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds
Cool.
good. Yeah.
But as of this afternoon, we had 41 sessions already submitted for 8th. Yeah,
Yeah. November 8th. Yeah.
totally look forward to that. Okay,
Sure.
cool. So
Okay.
let me ask Huen, any parting words, my friend? Olga, if you want to say something, otherwise, Sunil, I can let you go, sir. And
Yeah,
I hope to see
thank
you
for,
on 27th.
giving me a chance to show this one and give it you sign up for the free account and play with it. It's very, very helpful tool.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
thank you
So
so
we'll
much.
stop the recording now. I will
Yeah.
do that. Okay, give me
Yes.
one sec.
Sure.
Stop recording.
Yeah.
Okay.